Hi everybody, we are in for a treat today. Who likes onion blossom? That's got to be one of my favorite things to get at a restaurant, which we don't get very often. So I saw somebody posted on Facebook the recipe and I wanted to give it a try. Just check it out and see what we could do. So what we're going to do first is we are going to mix up a cup of flour, and you're supposed to add salt, pepper, garlic, and paprika. So because I have my spices, I added SPG, and I added 2 teaspoons of this, and I added almost a teaspoon of the smoked paprika. You could add a little cayenne pepper to that to give it a little spice if that's something you're interested in. So you put it all in a bowl, and you're going to mix that up. And that is the first thing we're going to be putting our onion in. So 1 cup of flour and your spices. So what it does take is a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of pepper, and a teaspoon of garlic powder. But like I said, my SPG has everything in there. And I'm actually thinking about it. I'm going to add a little more. I find I like my spices. So add a little more in there. And it's called for paprika. I have smoked paprika, one of my favorite spices that I learned about during COVID when I ordered the meals from HelloFresh. I found they use that a lot. Okay, and then you're going to do your liquid, and your liquid is 1 cup of buttermilk, and I happen to buy buttermilk this time. Now, if you don't have buttermilk on hand, just take a cup of milk and add a good tablespoon of vinegar and let it sit, and it'll curdle. Basically, buttermilk is almost, to me, it's like milk going bad. It's thick and lumpy. But anyway, I bought that. That'll be great for pancakes. And you're going to mix in 2 eggs and whip that up. So that's our wet. And then for your dry ingredients, you need a cup of breadcrumbs. You can take a slice or 2 of bread and grate them, and then do breadcrumbs. You can buy breadcrumbs at the store, which I did. I didn't have any in my cupboard, so I picked up this Panico breadcrumbs, and also we carry the breadcrumbs that are gluten-free, and I didn't have any on hand, so you could use those. Those are the 3 things. The next thing you need are 4 small onions. So I have onions, of course I do, and you are to cut them. You are to find where the root is, which is there, and cut off the top. Now in this one, I did it wrong. This is the top of the onion that would have been sticking out of the ground. This is the root. So you want to hold on to the root because something's got to hold it together. So you slice a bit off the top, which I did, and then I cut my onion. I cut it in half, in a quarter, and then I cut those again. You're going to want to cut almost all the way down, but not quite. So actually, when I cut it, I didn't cut it enough. So then I took my knife and I carefully sliced down a little bit more to get it down to the root. And then you want to open it up like a petal. There's your onion blossom. Yum, yum. I cannot wait to try these. Then you're going to dip this in the flour and get it kind of coated. And then in the egg, and then in the crumbs. Then you're going to put it into an air fryer for 15 minutes. That air fryer needs to be at 375 and warmed up. That's the noise in the background. And you are going to spray inside your air fryer and on your onion so it doesn't stick, and you're going to place it in there. So I'm going to cut an onion while we're chit-chatting here. So look at this one. We have the stem that comes out of the ground. That's the top. There is the roots. We're going to cut the top off. So we're just going to slice it off the top. And then you need to peel it. Now, does anybody know some great ideas on how to prevent yourself from crying when you're peeling onions? I'd love to know. I just read that you keep a glass of water beside it when you're peeling, which I did. I haven't had any issues today, but it could just be the onions. And that has prevented it. But sometimes some onions, especially fresh new onions out of the garden, are terrible for watering up your eyes. So if you've got some great ideas on how to prevent that, please share with us. So here's my onion, and I cut it in a quarter. See, 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. I cut it down the middle, and I did it again. Now I'm going to cut those in half. You don't have to. You could leave it at the 4, but I'm going to cut it into 8, unless my air fryer tells me it's ready. So there you go. But you see how this doesn't quite come apart? So I'm going to cut that further down here to make it open up more into a blossom like a flower. And then that way, hopefully, all the onion inside will cook and you'll be able to put it into a sauce. I'm going to make a sauce. There's a recipe here for the sauce. Not sure if that's the one I'm going to make or not. I haven't decided yet. I figure I've got 15 minutes while they're cooking and I'll decide what I'm going to dip it in. Okay, so see, it's a lot more easier to pull apart because you cut it down further, making it a lot easier for blossom. So I'm going to take those 4. We're going to put it in. I'm just going to turn that back on so we make sure it's hot. Okay. We're going to dip them. I'm going to get my hands real dirty. Okay. So you could use tongs. So let's put that in there. Get all the flour in that blossom. You want it all in the onion, inside the blossom, I should say, of the onion. I'm going to get a plate to put that on. Okay, so there's my onion, all covered in flour. We're going to dip it into the egg before we dip it into the, actually what I'm going to do is use 2 tongs because I'm going to have a wet tong and a dry tong, and that way I don't have the flour. Okay, so there's my onion soaked in the egg. We're going to take it out. Oops, maybe. So we put it into the breadcrumbs. Okay, get it covered in breadcrumbs, ready to go into the air fryer. So there's one right there. Make sure it's all covered. Okay, I'm going to take that. I'm going to put it on a plate, ready to put on my air fryer. Before I put it in the air fryer, I'm going to spray it. I'm going to take some oil. I'm going to spray that girl. Get her nice, because I want her crispy. And put it in the air fryer and cook it. I'm going to cook 2. I have a small air fryer, 2 at a time. And make sure they're not sticking together. And that'll take about 15 minutes, which I will do. And I will show you the end result. So there is your onion blossom ready to go in the air fryer. And let's hope this works, because it's the first time I've tried it. Okay, everybody, take care. Feel free to join my YouTube channel, Kelly's Cooking, and follow me on Facebook for more great ideas on recipes. Everybody